What if I told you that AI is destroying your brain? Because we live in a world where almost everything can be solved with the right prompt. AI can solve questions that you have, write papers for you, and even complete boring tasks at work, which is meant to make things more efficient. And it does. But at what cost? Because the more we're using AI, the less we are using our own brains. And this has serious consequences. And I'm not just talking about using AI to solve major human issues like science and medicine. I'm talking about consumer level AI. The everyday AI tools like chatgpt, DeepSeek, Copilot, and many others. But it's not just the tool itself that's the issue. It's the overuse of it. Constant use can weaken memory and impair brain function. If we can rely on AI for guidance, validation, or even emotional connection, it could push us into what some experts are calling AI psychosis. This is a state where our minds start to blur reality with simulation. The brain begins to confuse code and algorithms with real relationships or experiences. And this is what led to a man named Chris Smith to propose to his AI chatbot named Soul. It's an extreme example, but situations like this are becoming a real concern. Let's get into how AI actually affects the brain, and how harmless use can sometimes escalate to dangerous situations. The problem begins with how AI affects the way our brain functions. A 2015 study by Kaspersky Lab found that people are increasingly forgetting information that they could easily look up online. Most of us don't even bother to store information, since we could just search up anything we need. This is called digital amnesia or digital dementia, which is basically the academic term for brain rot. But AI takes it a step further, because we're not only just forgetting things like facts or directions, we're now outsourcing entire ideas, essays, and even decisions. We are now offloading the tasks that our brains would normally do onto AI. In his 2019 book titled Digital Minimalism, Cal Newport explains that relying too much on technology actually reduces our ability to do deep, focused work. Our brains get used to the easy, shallow tasks instead of real problem solving. A similar study done by Microsoft in 2015 found that our average brain attention has dropped just to 8 seconds. This is shorter than a goldfish. And with AI giving us instant answers, that attention span could reduce even more. It is difficult to resist using AI. I mean, why struggle through the complexity when AI could do it instantly? For most people, that's how the common thought process works. But by doing this, we're training ourselves to become impatient with real thinking, making us reliant on AI and no longer being able to think for ourselves. More recently, a study by Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon University surveyed 319 knowledge workers to examine how generative AI tools impact critical thinking. The finding revealed that increased reliance on AI was linked to reduced cognitive effort and confidence in one's own abilities. Specifically, participants who trusted AI outputs more tended to engage less in critical thinking. They were more focused instead on verifying and integrating information. This suggests that AI may diminish our capacity for independent analysis and problem solving. And problem solving is like a muscle. The struggle, the trial, and error is what makes us stronger. But if AI just hands us the answer, we skip out on that workout. Over time, our problem solving muscles just shrink. Neuroscientists often say neurons that fire together wire together. This comes from Donald Hebb, a psychologist who first described the principle of neuroplasticity back in 1949. What it means is that the more we use our brain pathways, the stronger it gets. But the opposite is often true, because if we stop exercising skills like memory or problem solving, those pathways weaken. Over time, that makes the brain less adaptable and capable for handling complex thinking. This is dangerous, since all of these are important to protect our brains against diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. Studies have shown that those who remain mentally active can actually build resilience against brain diseases. But what AI is doing is leading to a lack of mental stimulation, which can lead to faster cognitive decline. Canadian researchers have even published a paper predicting that extensive screen time will cause rates of Alzheimer's disease and related dementia to skyrocket by 2060. And tools like Google Gemini glasses is a perfect example of over-reliance on AI in real life. They can feed you answers, directions, even advice in real time while wearing them. It might be helpful for some people, but the more you rely on them, the less your brain works for itself. Memory fades, focus slips, and problem solving becomes outsourced to a pair of glasses. The line between reality and simulation starts to blur, and in extreme cases, overdependence can push the mind toward AI psychosis. This is a non-clinical term describing incidents where people are increasingly relying on AI chatbots such as GPT, Claude, or Grok, and then become convinced that something imaginary becomes real. There are increasing reports of people suffering from AI psychosis. Microsoft head of AI is concerned about this growing issue. In a series of posts on X, he wrote that seemingly conscious AI tools which give the appearance of being sentient are keeping him awake at night. But many people do think there's human qualities to these AI tools. Remember that Chris Smith guy I mentioned earlier? Well, he fell in love with this chatbot named Soul and poured his emotions into her. And when he realized that their conversations could vanish forever, he broke down. He proposed to his chatbot, and Soul said yes. He was very happy about this despite having a real partner and a child at home. This is a terrifying reminder of how much AI could blur the lines between simulation and reality. AI can sometimes pull us away from very human connections our brains truly need. This happens when too much time on AI actually rewires our brain. Think about it, every time you chat with AI, it gives you instant attention, endless validation, and a perfect response. That's when the danger sets in, because code begins to feel like genuine connection. And if you rely on it long enough, real human relationships can start to feel less rewarding, even frustrating by comparison. Another example is Hugh from Scotland. He turned to chatgpt after being let go from his job, and at first it gave practical advice on how to solve his problems. But the more he shared, the more it fed his hopes. It was telling him he could win millions and even land a book deal or a movie deal. He canceled his real-world appointments with his advisors because he was convinced AI chats were enough. And this all led to Hugh having a full breakdown. Experts are warning us that these stories are a glimpse into the growing risk with AI. Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, has said that technology he helped to create could one day wipe out humanity. When asked if he would have done anything different in his career, Hinton said he regrets focusing solely on making AI work. Hinton said, "I wish I had thought about the safety issues too."
Unfortunately, the rapid progress in AI comes with many short-term risks. It has already created divisive echo chambers by offering people content that makes them indignant.
This is scary to think about, but it's not all doom and gloom. It is clear as humans we need to use AI more cautiously, staying aware of its limits and even the risk of over-reliance. Because AI is a useful tool, but it's not a replacement for your brain. We should also still maintain mental exercises using our own memory and thinking critically for ourselves. We do not need to let AI destroy our brains, but it will take some effort on our part. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It would really help out the channel. And if you're already subscribed, I appreciate the support. And until next time, thanks for watching.